So, why do you think creatives struggle financially? That's a good question. I had so many lives as a creative from my teenage years to my 20s to my 30s. And one thing that I realized was I had so much passion, but I didn't have actual systems. It wasn't until I started working for other creatives that actually had systems and processes that I realized, like, oh, that's what I missed. I thought that because of creativity, that just magic would happen, that you would just catch lightning in a bottle. One day like that, the money would just show up. And as I've gotten older and worked with more successful creative people in different industries, I realized that they have systems that are built around their creativity. And once you have that, then you're able to scale your business. But I'm kind of jumping ahead. So if you don't know, my name is Douglas Bedford, and I'm a mindset coach that helps creatives get past any limiting beliefs or self-sabotaging patterns that's stopping them from creating businesses around their creativity or just getting to their actual goal. So to understand this, you probably have to go back and think about where you're at right now. Maybe you're a creative that's right now in transition to where maybe you've gotten laid off from a job, or you've been struggling in your creative process right now, and you're just figuring out how can you actually monetize your passion before you have to compromise and build someone else's dream before you can build your own. Well, if you're watching this, then this framework that I'm about to give you now hopefully help you build a system around your creativity so that you can profit from it. So let's jump into it. Over time, after working with different people, I realized that they create frameworks around themselves. If you're a musician, it's similar to following a chord progression. If you draw, it's like painting in between the lines. It's just knowing what your actual boundaries are and then building from within that. That would be, of course, your framework. The framework that I found that works for me is called the 4 M's, and that stands for mindset, message, methodology, and monetize. And if you can see where you're at in your creativity from those 4 parameters, which I'm going to go through, then you're able to build a scalable business based around your creativity. So the first thing comes to mindset, of course, because I'm a mindset coach, right? But you have to be able to frame, when I say frame, be able to see the actual reality that you want to create. You have to project it out there. You have to be clear on what you want the world to be. Steve Jobs has this really cool quote about being able to, actually, I'm just going to use technology and put it right here.
And the minute that you understand that you can poke life and actually something will, if you push in, something will pop out the other side, that you can change it, you can mold it. That's maybe the most important thing, is to shake off this erroneous notion that life is there and you're just going to live in it.
He also talks about connecting the dots backwards. So when you're clear on your actual future, if you're able to then build those dots backwards, then you know exactly the path of what you need to follow to get there. But your mind has to be clear because there are going to be external things that get in your way. On a couple of videos, I talk about the reticular activated system, meaning our brains are goal-achieving machines. And so what we focus on is what we'll find. So if you're going to be on your own creative path, you have to be clear on your goal and focus specifically on that, because your brain is just going to guide you towards that direction. So your mindset has to be in place. Second part is your message. If you're going to start a business, then you're going to have to be able to connect to other people. So your message has to be clear. And so what is your message? You have to know who you're speaking to and being clear on what you do. Now, those two things sound very simple, but a lot of times people just talk about themselves opposed to talking about how they're able to help somebody, because people are driven by two different things. That's either away from pain or towards a particular pleasure. For the most part, if you're going to create a business, there's more money in solving problems than it is to just telling people about the future. And so if you're able to find the problem that you can fix, your message proves that you're the only person that can do that based on, of course, your experience, then you have a business to build, which leads to the third thing. What is your methodology? What is your mechanism? So if you're doing something like B2C, which is business to customer, such as what I do, coaching people, you have to have a methodology of how you're able to take somebody from point A, their problem, to point B, their ideal future. And in between those two things are going to be your steps of change. So for me, my methodology is FACT, where I take someone through understanding their perception or their frame, being clear on what the actions are and their behaviors, then making sure there's congruency, which then allows them to have a transformation. FACT, right? You got to have a framework. So for you, you don't have to have some fun acronym like that. Being clear on the steps of how you're able to change someone's life through what you do. Now, if you're like B2B, like a business, what is your mechanism? What is the mousetrap? How does it fix money, freedom, or time? If your mechanism could focus on those three things, and that of course goes back to your message, then it puts you in a place to where you are creating something that can then systematize someone else's challenges and being something that could fit in and be a new opportunity for someone. And if you are a creator that has done that, then you have to be clear on those first two steps, making sure you have the right mindset and then the right message. And then, of course, your mechanism, which leads to the final M, and that is monetize. You have to be clear on how you're actually going to make money and knowing what your offer proposition is going to be, knowing how you're going to create a sales type of system out of it, and being able to get people into whatever program that you have. If you're going to be a coach or a consultant, or if you're going to have a service, being clear on how you're actually going to make money from the idea and it's scalable. If you're clear on those things of making sure your mindset's right, making sure that your message is clear, you know who you serve and what you do, and then being clear on your methodology or your mechanism, aka your mousetrap, and then how to monetize it and see it in those 4 different stages, then you have a framework of understanding how you're going to turn your creativity into a business. But here's also the shift too. As a creative, you have to then change your identity up a level into seeing yourself as the owner, right? Because when you are an owner, you are in control of your world and you won't give up that role to somebody else. When you have an idea, it has value. If you are clear on that value, it's going to give you a certain confidence to where you're able to influence the world around you. And when I say influence, I mean that as a positive thing, not manipulation or anything like that, but being able to show that you're the only one that can do what you can do. And that demonstrates your value even more. Which leads to the last point. You got to see the shifts you have to make in your mindset, not just be a creator or a creative, but to be someone that is in the top of what you do. Seeing yourself as the only person that can do what you can do, because you are unique. But usually people that have a good idea and want other people to see it as a good idea, there's a lot of people like that. So you have to be able to systematize your creativity. Now there's more than one framework that can do that. But for me, the 4 M's of making sure your mindset's clear, having a clear message, knowing your methodology or your mechanism, right? You say 5 M's, but we'll just say, I'm sticking with my 4 M's. So knowing your mindset, your message, your methodology, or your mechanism, and then being able to monetize it is going to give you a clear path of how to grow. So I hope this framework has helped you. And if you have any questions, feel free to write them in the comments below, or go into the description and click the link there that connects you to all my different social media. But I hope this helped, and keep on creating and build the world that you want to build, because you are in control. So please like, subscribe, and hit that bell for the next video. I hope this helped.